inside the pigskin. Have you driven a Powell lately? I don't know, but we have him back on tonight, Marvin Powell. That's what part of my auto industry background. Have you driven a Powell lately? Drive him all the way to the finish line and have a good old time. Welcome back, Marvin Powell III.
Thank you for having me.
We love having you on. And we got Ben, our Mercedes troop. How about that?
He's a Mercedes now.
There you go. Listen. I'd rather be a BMW than a Mercedes. The ultimate driving machine.
Okay.
I'll be the BMW.
All right,
but
so
I'll take it to one. If Mercedes is a BMW,
so we got all right. So here, BMW. So we got BMW, Ben Troop. How do you like that?
I'll take it. And BMW, if y'all listening, I will take one for free. And Scott said he will pay the insurance. Let's do it.
Insurance. Well, Steve, you better send a whole lot of reels, and we got to get to YouTube faster, and we get our subscribers the right way. We don't buy them like some of these people out there do, right, Steve?
I hate those accounts. I really do. Like, you look at them, they got 10,000 followers. That's that and the third, but no, they're not actual people. They're just accounts.
Yeah, I know. Oh, we got a lot to learn in this business, people. Let me tell you, we got Stephen Reichel, the heir apparent to the Motor City Mad Mouth. Okay, so when time comes, the guy says I'm not allowed to talk, Stephen will do it for me. But a lot of everybody saying, we can pull along that for a little while. And I'm doing the best I can. I got to keep it real out here, as in the real and the rare. Okay, one of Stephen's shows. Boy, I'm full of one-liners tonight. Don't worry. Candy Ebling back on again. We got a lot of football to talk to you, right, Miss Candy?
We do. Thank you for having me back on. I always love talking with my guys here.
Yeah, there you go. Candy and her guys. Look at that. There's Ben. He's loving every bit. Miss Candy. He is the Rolls Royce. That's it. Okay. Well, I don't know what I am. Call me a Honda Odyssey, my condo on wheels for all I care. I can call me one of them. I got a couple mattresses in the back, the condo on wheels, and I am king of the road, people. Okay. And before it's all said done, I'll be king of the seas. All right, whatever line. Compliments of Norwegian Cruise Line. All right, let's get to the agenda at hand here. And we're going to talk about our lead topic of the day, that being Roger Goodell had a stated goal of $25 billion annual revenue by 2027, which seemed audacious 2 years from the target. The NFL is at $23 billion in the latest fiscal year. What are your thoughts about that, Stephen Reichel?
More money, right? Listen, as the league continues to grow, you're seeing, as we have already talked about here plenty of times, we're going overseas, expanded more markets. There's talks of adding another week to the 18 game schedule. It's to be expected. We seen it. Before the winter meeting started, that they were going to raise the cap there. So it's kind of one of these things where it's par for the course at this point in time. We know that as it continues to go, we're going to see the cap increase continue to go up. I hope they in turn add roster spots, where you instead of a 53 man, maybe you get a 60 man roster, just because of injuries and things of that nature that happens in the NFL. You can't have too many guys on there for your availability, and ain't no surprise here that it's just going to grow.
Candy?
Let's face it. We all forget. We all look at the NFL as a sport, but it's a business. It's a business. And that's what his job is to do, is to grow the business, grow the revenue, grow that side of things. Who would have thought 5-10 years ago that the NFL draft would be a place to go and see and have hundreds of thousands of people go watch them, these teams pick the next quarterback, their next big, person. Look at how many viewers when it was COVID were on. Look at how we're streaming on how many different platforms, not just one, not just your cable, but that's to broaden your horizons, expand the viewership, and have more international all over the place. Roger Goodell is doing a really good job growing this business because let's face it, a lot of the other major sports aren't growing like he is. He's going internationally. He's doing the different things and he's having success with it. Good for him.
Ben?
Yeah, I mean the NFL understands that as long as these quarterbacks continue to stay healthy and continue to play well, that's what grows the game. I mean, even if you don't know about a team, you know who the quarterback is: Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, and et cetera, et cetera. In 2023, I think the NFL grows 20 billion. You already at 20. You're already adding 3 billion to that. Within 1 year, they'll get to the 25. And I think for a guy like Roger Goodell, he understands he is the villain. You either love or hate Roger Goodell, but I think he embraces it. I think he understands I'm going to get booed for the NFL draft. But the league is doing a really, really good job because the NFL should be more of a players' league. It's more about the shield. It's not about, the NBA is about the players. MLB is about, the teams. But I think the NFL do a good job of saying this. We used to own Sunday. Now we give you Saturday nights. Now we give you Thursday night. Now we got, New Year's games. Now we got, Thanksgiving. And the NFL, to me, is the best brand of football. The best variety is college. But the NFL knows this. The best players in the world play on Sunday. And as long as these quarterbacks continue to play well and not get hurt, that's what runs the league. So as much as we love the Saquon Barkley's of the world and these other skilled players, it's about the quarterbacks. That's why they get national commercials. That's why you know how they look without their helmet off. The average player walk down the street in the city that they play for, people don't know him. And that's not a bad thing. Patrick Mahomes is a celebrity. Joe Burrow is a celebrity. Lamar Jackson is a celebrity, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, if they want to go from 23 to 25, we're gonna be talking 30 billion 2 or 3 years from now. Because I think the league understands that the product on the field is what sells. And right now, man, business is booming, and it is definitely selling.
Great points, man. You're not a roll. This guy got to broadcasting they top pat. Go ahead, Marvin. That's a tough act.
No, listen, I agree with everybody before me. Football is king. That's what it comes down to. Football is king. And I think Goodell and these owners really understand the opportunities out there financially. And for as much as we're talking about safety and this and that, like Steve said, we're also talking about adding games. Why? Because at the end of the day, it's about that money. It's about that dollar. And that's always going to be, what pushes these guys. Candy said it. It's not a game. It's a business, and as Ben said, business is booming. And this is our soccer. This is baseball in the 50s, man. We're on top of it. We're in our golden age right now, potentially, and I think we're going to exceed numbers beyond the 25 and 30, like Ben said. And it's right now all about football. As that's the bottom line. Whether you look at the two most watched sports in America, we're talking about NFL football and college football. Football is king, and they're spreading that thing around the globe. In every way they can. The NFL's done a great job of marketing and pushing their product. I think overall they do a great job of how they handle business. It's a professional league. It really is, and they're doing a great job. So yeah, you're going to see more money and more money and more money. And I hope that comes down to really impacting players, players who play now, players who retired. I hope they do something significant in the next CBA, considering the money that's coming in.
Yeah, no question about it. It's not a matter of if it's going to happen. It's a matter of when we get to 18 games. The way it's going to likely turn out is you're going to have 18 games, and you're going to have 2 preseason games to get rid of them. There's more money coming in. And I think a lot of those extra games are going to head to the international games. Everybody's touched on this to begin with. You get another international game. Think of what the international games have done. They've actually kept the Jacksonville Jaguars afloat because of what's going on there. You think of what it's like for them to go to Wembley once or twice a year when they're struggling to draw in Jacksonville because the teams in London, they don't care how bad they are, but they are. So with that said, hey, Cade, how are you tonight? Glad to have you in here. Glad to see Ben back. We love Ben. We love Marvin. We love everybody that comes on the show. This show is a juggernaut, people. It is a powerhouse, no matter who we bring on. Whether we got Chris T. Jones, Mel Farr, Marvin Powell, Ben True. Of course, most of them all live in Atlanta anyway, so I know where I'm going to be going and hanging out when we get up to, what is it, Buckhead? Is that one of the bigger popular places up there, Marvin?
It is. It is. It is. My son just had a week-long basketball camp in Buckhead, and I really enjoyed it. Very nice area. Excellent food.
My good friend Mike Fratello once, you've heard of Mike Fratello, right?
Of course.
Former Hawks guy. And of course, Steve Holman Sr. has been asking me to come out there for a while. So I know a few of those Atlanta peeps, but Mike Fratello hooked me up with a hotel when I was up there. But that's pretty cool stuff. But getting back to my original point, let's face it, those international games, you had the 18 games, players going to get paid more money. The only thing we're not going to know about is how legitimate the records are. What 1,000 yards is going to mean. It's going to mean nothing anymore. But
yeah, I hate that.
Yeah, I mean, so some of that stuff, 1,000 yards, we struggle with 17, 16 games, but 18, forget it. But I don't want to go that. That's a topic for another night. But not only that, we talk about what they've done for a lot of these other games. How about the way the NFL embraces the military community as well when they play on the Veterans Day as well? So you talk about one of the more you ever see the game, I think, on Veterans Day? I remember seeing one out in San Diego many years ago. It was unbelievable seeing I think the Lions and the Chargers played one. And of course, 9/11, I've seen it in Jacksonville. If you've ever been to those particular communities on military, the NFL embraces the military quite a bit. But yeah, it's a money cow. We all know that. They added the third Thanksgiving game a long time ago. I'll never forget the time when I was in Phoenix, Arizona, Tempe, when Kansas City wanted to try to get that game away from the Lions. And I interviewed Jerry Jones in the Cowboys place. Pretty neat talking to Jerry, Yeah. And he was really nice to me. And he said, there's no way Detroit's going to lose that game. I'll make sure of that. So, I'm trying to do my best impersonation of Jerry Jones. Oh, Detroit. I don't have the cowboy hat on, but you get the accent. And I'm trying to give me an impersonator, whatever. But the reality is Detroit never lost a game with the Thanksgiving. Cowboys kept it, and they were able to manage their primetime game, and now everybody gets a crack at it, and there's more money in the cash cow. A lot to get to tonight, so that's just the tip of the iceberg. We're going to go up to Philadelphia. Tonight's going to have a lot of money themes connected to it. Saquon Barkley is the Eagles' sixth most expensive offensive player. Can you believe that? He's behind Jalen Hurts at $51 million, A.J. Brown at $32 million, Devonta Smith at $25 million, Jordan Mailata at $22 million, Landon Dickerson, $21 million. Saquon fits in at 20.6. Let me go over the rest of the top 10, if I may. Lane Johnson's at $20 million, Dallas Goedert at $14.2 million, Johan Dotson at $3.7 million, and Cam Jurgens rounds it out with $1.7 million. Steven, it's your neck of the woods. What are your thoughts about the value of Saquon Barkley, especially with a group of highly paid players?
I mean, everyone on that list is worth it. The only one you could probably make an argument is Jahan Dotson, being a third wide receiver getting paid that much money. But now you look around the league, most of the guys playing wide receiver are getting $15 to $18 million on average. That don't matter if you're 1, 3, or 4. But the rest of the guys on there, I think Saquon, without a doubt, not just his value before coming to Philadelphia, he had earned the contract that he got when he had got there. After the season, Howie Roseman and the boys got together and made sure he became the highest paid running back in the NFL, which I think was absolutely warranted. He was one game away from arguably breaking Eric Dickerson's record. He was earlier in the season almost broke the single game rush. His personal rushing record almost broke the single game record against the Rams the first in the regular season. So I think there's a couple things that go into that, and I think he's absolutely worth it. The rest of the names on that list speak for themselves. You have literally the entire offensive line outside of the right guard on there for one of the best offensive lines in football. So I think it is money well spent. And we were just talking about offensive lines last week. What did I say? Yeah. They weren't even in the top 5, and you still have what? You still have 4 guys on there that are the highest paid guys on the team. they're worth it. Lane Johnson's absolutely worth it. I think he's been the best right tackle in football over the last five years. I mean, you could make arguments money for the big man over there in San Francisco, but I don't think that there's a guy on that list that isn't worth it. Landon Dickerson's been an absolute mauler since he got here. He got his contract last season. And the funny part about it, you mentioned Cam Jurgens rounds out that list, and PPF didn't even have him in the top 10 centers in football. So, in my opinion, you can make arguments to sit there and say everyone on that list is well deserving. You could also make arguments that we manipulate the cap, the things of that nature. Listen, we got all our guys, and here's the other thing about that: Saquon Barkley and AJ Brown and Jahan Dotson are the only guys on that list that were not drafted here. This team is put together through the draft. They know when to retain their guys. They know when to let them walk. That all speaks for themselves. You can make arguments about a lot of things, but the way Philadelphia spends their money is smart. They spend it in the right place, and they make sure that they're superstars, however you want to word that, stay here in Philadelphia.
Yeah, there's two words for that: Howie Roseman. Period. All right, Ben.
But wait, Micah Parsons sat there and said Jerry Jones is the best GM in football. What happened?
Yeah. Well, don't get me started on that, but we'll. Hey, Marvin, let me know when you want to come back for another one. We'll bring up Micah Parsons. I'll make sure you're here for that one. I have plenty to talk about this guy, but not tonight. So, all right. So how would you assess the list, Ben?
No, I agree. I agree a lot with what Steven said. I think sometimes people look at the dollar amount and start saying, "Look, is everybody getting what they worth?" Yeah, Saquon Barkley is highest paid running back in football. Howie Roseman understood that while everybody's bank account is not going to look the same, everybody's bank account is loaded. Everybody and the one thing about those guys when you start talking about getting your money is people just want to get theirs. I think sometimes we look at what somebody else is getting, and Marvin can speak to this. We do not tap other people's pockets. We do not count another person's money as long as you get yours. The one thing I learned in football, as in life is life. You don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiated, and that's what they negotiated. That's what they got, and I'm happy for everybody on that list. Howie Roseman made it so that every single player is either number one at their position or in the top three. All of those guys we just mentioned. So I think that AJ Brown, since he's been there, they've been going to Super Bowls. I mean, Devonta Smith, probably the best number two receiver, number two option. I don't care what people feel about T. Higgins over there with Cincinnati, and we'll see, what other guys do around the league. I mean, the thing about Lane Johnson, all he does is don't give up sacks. He's so good, it's boring watching him play football. And Howie Roseman understands, as long as everybody's getting their money, there is no room to complain. Complain about what? Everybody on that list that has balled got a new contract. Dotson hasn't got a new contract, but he got a Super Bowl. He went from Washington to Philly. Now he got a super duper. Now he get a chance, to go out there and earn another big contract. And how you said it though, Scott. Howie Roseman is playing chess and he's laughing. He's not hiding what he's doing. He's just saying, this is how you put a team together. This is how we keep them together. And this is how we win. And like I said, I don't care what they're giving Jalen Hurts. He is still underpaid. I don't care what no one says. That man is underpaid. There is only one quarterback that's been to more Super Bowls since he got drafted. That would be Patrick Mahomes. There was only one quarterback that has a better winning percentage since he got drafted. That is Patrick Mahomes. And there was only one quarterback in the league that can beat him in a Super Bowl. That would be Jalen Hurts. So for me, I think everybody on that list is getting their money. If you are on defense and you watching what the offense is getting, if you are N'Kobe Dean, right? If you are Jalen Carter, if you are Nolan Smith, and so if you are Ojulari and all these guys, they're saying, wait a minute, Howard, you mean to tell me you'll take care of me? Well, I'll take care of you in a way to where not only will you be getting your money, you getting the money and you on a team that matters. See, what people don't talk about is I want my money, but I don't want the team to not matter. Because I'm gonna be home, first week in January. No, I want to be playing deeper to the playoffs. The best team in football gonna win because they have one thing that every other team is searching for. They got the best culture. Who got a better culture right now in Philly? Nobody does.
Right.
And Kansas City is very close. Detroit is very close. They ain't Philly. So hey, if you think they good before they get their money, watch
Great
what happens
point.
after them M's go up. So hey, I'm a dirty bird fan. I'm a Birds fan. I'm just a dirty Birds fan, unfortunately, Marvin. So, I only know what it's like to go to a Super Bowl, be up 28-3, and God, I mean, right there. You know what I'm saying? But hey, it's
Yeah.
shout out to them Eagles. They gonna be a team that's gonna be around for a long time because they do the old NFL model. You draft, you develop, and you retain. And that's what they're doing. And not only do they retain, they give you them big dollars. So shout out to them Eagles, man. It's like I feel like I'm an Eagles fan. I am not, Steven. And y'all ain't bringing me over to that white and green side. I'm gonna be Dirty Bird for life.
Oh, it's just a matter of time. We're
But I
gonna
got
break
to
you
give
down.
credit what credit is due. I got to give credit what credit is due.
Oh, Marvin, I have a lot to say. I have a little to say, but I'll let you say your thing.
No. Listen, I mean, at the end of the day, it comes down to leadership. Howie knows what he's doing. That owner knows what he's doing, and trusting Howie. You got 53 guys to pay, and you got to figure it out. And this dude's figuring it out. And with that said, he's managed to have a great O line, D line. He's built that team through the line of scrimmage. And then you counter in, Saquon Barkley. The reality is, as good as they are, he takes them to another level. The fact that he's the number 6 highest paid player on the team, I kind of get that just based upon, what they've really built. You can make an argument he should be the highest paid non-quarterback. You know what I mean? He's talented like that. He's special like that. He's a generational player. And, I was one of the guys that felt, honestly, I was emotional about whether or not he should break the record or not, just because of the amount of games and all that. But then they did the numbers and said that he would have broke the record, that he technically already broke the record, or he would have broken the record just based on carries or whatever they said. But nevertheless, man, this guy is phenomenal. And I don't think you could pay that guy enough. In regards to Jalen Hurts, I'll be honest with you, he had to grow on me a lot as a player. He showed me a lot this year. I think he has a great deal. When you say he's underpaid, I don't know. I think he's a great player. I like him a lot. I do. But, I mean, listen, they got players over there. They really do. And but then, Ben, these numbers you kicked out about, his winning percentage and how many games he's won, I didn't know that. I didn't know that he was second behind Mahomes because numbers don't lie. No, they don't. They say a lot, and like I already said, he's grown on me. He really has. So, he's probably right where he needs to be. But a guy like Saquon, you can't pay that guy enough. You can't pay him enough. That's the bottom line. That's how I look at it.
Candy?
So what I'm going to say about Steven's numbers is numbers don't lie, but they can be manipulated to strew the truth the way you want to see things. Are the Eagles doing a great job? Of course they are. One of the things that you would also argue is that was something that Tom Brady did. He would renegotiate his contract to make sure others got paid so that he could have people surrounding him to help elevate him and help get him those Super Bowl rings. And that's one of the things that some of the other quarterbacks in this league have not done. And that's why some of these quarterbacks in the league do not have the rings that Tom Brady had. Part of it is definitely the supporting cast you have around you. We talk about, is Jalen Hurts a really great quarterback? If you put Jalen Hurts on another team, is he going to have the same success? No. And if you move some of these other quarterbacks that maybe are getting paid a lot more that haven't had the success on the Eagles, would they have the success? That's the true test, I think. And so would I say that he's an elite quarterback? No. Is he a very good quarterback? Yes. He's on a very good team with a lot of other very talented players. And kudos to Saquon Barkley, because I almost wish Mel Farr Jr. was on this broadcast, because he would tell you running backs deserve the money, and they have been left in the shadows for so long. A wide receiver's out on the edge. They catch a long ball. They might block. A running back might block, might run with the ball, and then they might catch the ball as well. So they're going to touch the ball more than a wide receiver. So is it time that some of these good, really good running backs get paid more? Yes. Scott, we opened the show with the NFL is going to make $23 billion. The players deserve some of that money. And some of them deserve to get paid better.
But the only thing I'm going to say about this, Saquon Barkley reminds me of Barry Sanders. You know why? Very unselfish. He didn't care about records. Records don't matter to Barry
I got
Sanders.
one for you before we wrap it up. Go ahead, brother.
Well, yeah, that's fine. I'll give it back to you in a minute. Barry Sanders, records didn't matter. He could have had a lot of rushing titles, one or two more rushing titles. He didn't care. Doesn't matter. Sat on the bench. He was done. Item number one. And anybody, Ben, that mentions the word chess is going to score points big time. I love when people play chess and they win at this game, man. Because when you play chess in life, you win. You're out thinking everybody. And that's what I mentioned in my book, Lessons from the Microphone, Marvin. We'll get you a copy one of these days, all right?
Appreciate it.
Well, I will. Everybody on this crew's got one. When I get one, we'll figure that out. But chess is what it's all about. Yeah, Candy said it right. Tom Brady sacrificed some money. It's called unselfish is what it is. But these guys are making money and endorsements and all that. And we all talked about the money thing. Quarterbacks are the face of the league. They're going to get paid more money. But Saquon Barkley is just appreciative that somebody wanted him. Like Philadelphia. They wanted him so bad that he even got something called a championship ring. How many guys don't get a championship ring? My goodness, nobody will ever call him titleist. Take note, Dan Marino. You are titleist, okay? And as far as he is titleist, Dan Marino, Saquon Barkley isn't. And by the way, for all of our people in the Atlanta audience, my first Super Bowl was actually the Denver Broncos beating the Atlanta Falcons down here, Super Bowl 33.
Whoa! Come on, we trying to.
No, if Paul Harvey said, "Let me finish the rest of the story," okay. Ever heard of Paul Harvey? Ever heard of him?
I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear about Mr. Harvey. He talking about my Falcons. We've been to 2. We lost 2.
Let me run. All right, I'm gonna put my Aaron Rodgers hat on. Relax. You know what's so nice about 33? It's my lucky number. That's all I'm going to say. My first Super Bowl, lucky number 33. But I know nobody wants to talk about Super Bowl defeats. I get it. But that was my first Super Bowl here in Miami. So people take note. We talk about a lot of different things, like my buddy Dan Marino. Okay. I'm not going to score any points with any Dolphins fans. I don't care. I prefer Matt Stafford anyways. But that's beside the point. But the reality is yeah, the Eagles spend their money wisely and they play chess. And that's what I was going with this, Ben. I know you got a little, everybody, when they pick on the dirty birds, they pick on the dirty birds, but it's okay.
No, it's all good because there are teams that ain't never went to a Super Bowl. So people.
I know. Don't worry. I'll be talking. I'll be talking about one of them later in the broadcast. And it pains me.
Saying from that standpoint, how he's playing chess because you can see every move he's making, but you got the counter move. You can see who he's sacrificing, on the chessboard while he's doing that. But he gonna say checkmate every time. Like he gonna be like, dude, I get it. And so I think when you watching what Howie is doing, he is saying, why aren't other GMs doing this? And I agree with something Miss Candy said. No, if Jalen Hurts was on other teams, would he be as good? I don't know, because Jalen Hurts has only been good every team he's ever played for: high school, Alabama, Oklahoma. He's never not been good. So I'm saying, if Jalen Hurts played for San Francisco, you think they're going to a Super Bowl? Yeah, because Brock Purdy went to one. People don't consider Brock Purdy elite. If he played for a lot of teams, he doesn't look like the elite quarterback we've grown to know. It ain't sexy the way he plays football. I get it. But Marvin appreciated this. Is he winning? Yep. And he's winning a lot. Only Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes got a better winning percentage. People want to talk about Joe Burrow. People want to talk about Lamar Jackson. People want to talk about Jared Goff. People want to talk about Josh Allen. Who can't they beat? They can't beat Patrick Mahomes. If the Eagles lost 30, 38, 35 in the first Super Bowl, if they win that Super Bowl, who you think the MVP would have been? It would have been Jalen the first time. He would have got MVP the first time they played. So when he sees Patrick Mahomes on the other sideline, he says, I got to play my best against the face of the league. And he's done it twice. We'll see if we get the rematch in the Super Bowl. But I'm just saying, when those other guys play against Patrick Mahomes, Either they look real good in the regular season and can't win in the AFC Championship game, or they don't even play him. Lamar Jackson got 2 career playoff wins. He has 2.
Hey, Ben, let me just say one thing, brother. And I say this to the love you. Okay, as far as the Atlanta Falcons, there's no crime in losing to John Elway. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. I don't want him to
I
get upset with me.
Had a shot till they kicked the ball off. I knew it. We were not going to beat Denver. I was just happy to be there, with the Dirty Bird. That's when the Dirty Bird came alive. But then, we had FBI stings the night before the game, starting safeties getting caught up in the sting. And, we were going to lose that game. No matter what. But we shouldn't have lost against the Patriots. I'm
not talking about the Patriots. I'm talking about the Falcons and the Broncos. I'm not rubbing it into you that you lost that one. I'm talking about my first Super Bowl. For me, as a reporter, that was the first Super Bowl I ever covered, man. And I'll tell you, I met all kinds of people. I even met Evander Holyfield and a ton of these people in there, and I was in awe. I had to be lectured by a few PR people because it was so uptight. It's in my book, man. I swear. I'm not giving you the riot act about losing New England. I'm talking about losing to Denver. That was a good team with John Elway. So I don't want to pick up and go off base. It's okay, Ben. You are my brother. I'm not picking on them.
No. You listen. I mean, when I started going to therapy, I'm going for, depression and anxiety. And then when I tell my therapist I'm a Falcons fan, they was like, oh, God. Oh, man.
Well, here, you want me to add insult to injury about the Lions? I'll give it to you. I'll make it worse. I'll pin the tail on me. The last time they won a championship, people, was December 29th, 1957. You know why I know that date? Because it was my birthday 5 years before I was hatched. What does that tell you? It isn't so bad to be a dirty bird because my Lions look like little kitties. That's all. We'll leave it at that. My birthday, 1957, December 29th. And I wasn't even hatched.
My last thoughts on this money thing. I want to get this in here before we move on.
Okay.
Now you were talking about Jalen Hurts, elite, not elite, whatever. When he got his contract extended 2 years ago, his agent just came out did an interview this week, and his thing is he refused to accept it until he knew that it was not going to affect his teammates, that they could bring people in, re-sign guys, and things of that nature. At the time, he was the highest paid player, biggest contract in NFL history, all that. Right now, at this exact moment, he's the 10th highest paid quarterback in the NFL at this moment. We're talking about 2 years removed. It happened after losing the Super Bowl in 22. 2 years later, he's not even a top 10 paid quarterback in the NFL. That's the chess moves we're talking about. What this team is making and how they're doing everything the smart way. So, Jalen is one of those rare dudes. Seeing that this week with the fact that he would not sign the contract until he had assurances that AJ was going to get paid, his linemen were going to get paid.
It's called unselfish.
Go ahead.
It's called unselfish 101.
Yeah, listen, man. Listen, that dude is as humble as they come, but he's a bad mofo on that field. It don't matter if he would win elsewhere. He's winning here with the team put around him, with the apparently the offense that he runs is chosen by him, apparently, according to insider sources. So, we can get mad at whatever, but Ben has already said it, dude. He's the second highest winning percentage behind Patrick Mahomes. He's got 2 Super Bowl appearances under his belt in his first 5 years, a Super Bowl MVP. He just added another ring to his collection as he just got married this past weekend. So, hats off to the man. He's living life the way it should be lived, and he's doing it to making sure his teammates are good around him. Not a lot of guys in this league do that, making sure the other guys on their team's pocket is about as fat as his. So he's a rare one. The end.
Eddie Prater, good to see you back here. Jalen Hurts is a team player, unlike Dak. That's a good one, Eddie. Well, when Eddie gets in here, he's unbelievable. All right, we'll stay on the money thing. Every time you see his up, they go up automatically. We'll stay on the money thing. NFL fine the Falcons $250K, and Jeff Holbrook another $100K for over leaking Shadur Sanders' phone number. What are your thoughts on that one, Pat?
I mean, I think they got off easy. I think they got off really, really easy, especially the team.
Yeah.
I mean, when these type of situations happen, right? And I knew that the Falcons were gonna get, I knew that there was, Arthur Blankenship was gonna get $250K. D coordinator son doing that. There is disrespectful, and there is what this kid did. It's a higher level. I ain't never seen nothing like this in my life. And Marvin, maybe you can speak to it better than I could. Could you imagine if it was the other way around? Shadur Sanders got somebody's number, and he called somebody to prank him. That we will be hearing about it every single day in every news cycle, football related or not, sports related or not. It's on CNN, it's on Fox, it's on MSNBC. There is that when this happened, right? I was like, this can't be real. This really cannot be real. And it was. And the thing about it is now, I understood that coaches had players' numbers and things. I know they did that kind of stuff, but this gonna be his legacy. It really, really is, regardless of, and I get it, he can't control what his son does. And I get it, he thought his son, and look, and stop calling 21-year-olds kids. That's not a kid. No, that's not a kid. He's a grown man. He's a young grown man. My mama had me at 20, okay? He's not a kid. I don't like when we do that. It's a kid, just no. It's a 20-something-year-old that saw Shadur Sanders' number and thought, hey, let's prank him and let's film it. So we can make sure it's me. Hey, Shadur. Like, and once again, Shadur Sanders doesn't get enough credit for how he handled that. Already acting like a pro before he signed a contract. You're trying to make fun of me falling in the draft because you think it's funny.
Right. You
better hope Shadur Sanders don't start for the Browns, help the Browns start when he end up getting offensive rookie of the year. I'm just saying, I believe that the Falcons got off easy and the gentleman and the D coordinator got off easy because this could be a career ender, depending on who, but obviously he don't got no track record. He can't control what his son does, but yeah, $250K. I mean, what is $250K, to Arthur Blank? I mean, he giving more money than that to charities. But I just think that when I saw it, you had to do something. But I just commend Shadur Sanders and the Sanders family as a whole for you keeping it professional because, man, please. I mean, nobody in that young man's camp told him that was dumb. No, don't do that. Like, go to Browns camp and heckle him. Don't do. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. It was, and I know that Shadur wasn't the only one that got pranked. I know that other players got pranked as well, but they hopefully remained anonymous. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, $500,000 in all for both the coach and the team. Yeah, the NFL. I guess it's a slap on the wrist. I guess it makes it look like they're actually trying to discipline the Falcons. But I guarantee you this will never happen again. I guarantee every child of every coach will not get to come to my office when I'm prepping for the draft. No, Daddy, what you doing? Get the hell out of here. No, go. Get out. Not because they're going to do it, but I don't even want, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. I mean, trying to bring your young grown son to work, and he all on computer like, is that really his? And Daddy, is this really Shadur Sanders' number? Yeah. His daddy's supposed to say, what you want to know for? No. So, yeah, man, it's a cautionary tale. Like when I was in the National Football League, Marcus Robinson, the player personnel coach, said, Ben, if you are going to make a mistake in the league, make a mistake that we all can learn from. Don't do something that's already been done before. Don't do something we already know what the consequence is. So I ain't never seen this, but I guarantee you we will never see it again. Because if it is seen again, it's going to be harsh consequences for that organization and whoever child. Because had this been a real kid, like a kid, oh, you could kind of forgive it. 21-year-olds aren't kids, people. That's not a kid. I'm telling you right now, that's not a kid. So let's get away from young and kid is not the same thing. That's all I'm saying. I'm done with it.
Well, I'll just say this. You are right. $250K for an organization is a slap in the wrist. $100,000 for the coach, well, it is what it is. All right, Marvin, what's your take on this?
Yeah, I agree with both of you guys. Quarter mil, I mean, that's not real money to an NFL team. Again, we're talking about these teams, this league making 23 billion, 25 billion. You know what I mean? It's a bad look for the coach. I mean, it's a bad look for your coach. I mean, it's so unprofessional. We live in a day of identity theft. And when I first saw it, I thought the NFL is going to they're going to be forced to change protocol, because depending upon, you have to think, is that the first time that there was that type of breach? The first time we're hearing about it, you get these college kids who think that's a joke. They think it's funny. Maybe they're entitled. They don't realize these guys who get drafted and put in a lot of work. This means a lot to them. So to play with their emotions like that it's just a bad look. It's horrible. I really hate that it happened. And again, to Ben's point, the maturity you saw from this kid Shador says a lot. It speaks a lot to who he is, because in a real life situation in real time, you saw him do the right thing, which was nothing, to be honest with you. It's just, this talk it off. But no, I think you're going to see different protocol. I don't think this will ever happen again. I think this will, unfortunately, I think it does follow Auburn to a degree, because it was it's a known incident. It hit the media. It's kind of a big deal that, to be honest with you, and I feel like it wasn't responded to the right way. Again, you go to Ben's point, if, what if this was, Shador doing this, whatever it may be, you'd have a different story. I mean, you could see almost a double standard there potentially, but bad look for the league. Things will change.
Candy, let's go to the 3 comments by Eddie Prather. Don't bring your laptop home. That's a good idea. I would have fired the assistant coach. Not a bad idea, of course. But then why would the Falcons need Sanders' number? They don't need it. So look at a QB. Yeah. Okay, worth putting up there anyways. Thanks, Eddie. I'd like to get everything that he puts up there. All right, Candy. We got one or two more topics before we get to a station break. Go ahead, Candy. Steve will finish it off. I said what I had to say. Slap on the wrist. End of story.
So, Ben, I have to give you kudos because you are completely right. This young business, come on, at 21, you can drink, you can drive a car, you can be in the Marines and the Army and go to war, you can fight, but you can't be responsible for your actions because you stole a number off your daddy's laptop and started pranking people? Come on now. And I'm sorry. If you have a work laptop and you're bringing it home and you don't have it locked so other people can come in there and look at it, and no matter what you have on it, you could have all kinds of different numbers or all, I'm sorry, in my line of work, privacy is privacy and you can get fired for that. I can get fired if I leave my computer open and someone walks over there and does a search for the wrong thing. I can get fired. That monetary fine is a drop in the bucket. It's nothing. Oh, let me quick write a check. That $23 billion in this business, that is a drop in the bucket. That's not enough. And security and privacy, like you said, identity theft has gone on the rise. Everybody needs to do better protocols, and I'm sure they will have better systems in place, because whether he's a recruit, whether he was a current player, it doesn't matter. I mean, obviously a work laptop, that's not the only phone number that's going to be on that laptop. There's got to be a lot of others. So they need to really rethink their security protocols and what they're allowed to have on and what they do. And I'm sorry, these immature college kids that think that this stuff is funny and that they can do that to someone to that magnitude. Yes, Shador took the high road, but that could have broke some. You talk about a day and age where mental illness is so bad, that could have drove somebody to, and God forbid, but suicide is on the rise. I would hate to see something like that really go in that direction. And then how would that kid feel? Like, this turned out okay, but it could have gone south in so many different ways.
Okay, Steven, you have the last word on this.
I mean, listen, I think we've all hit it on the head here. kid stops, stop insulting our intelligence. Come on now. Don't agree with Eddie where the assistant coach should have been fired. I mean, like, listen, it's bad enough that his son embarrassed him. He had to go eat a lot of crow, to his boss, things of that nature. Dad is being punished enough. Who knows what Dad's going to be putting him through moving forward. He's got a lot coming. The dollar amount on it, you had to do something, or you couldn't just let it go unchecked. But agree with everyone here. Protocols are definitely going to have to change from top to bottom. This isn't the first incident that this has happened where people get a hold of these guys' numbers that are given out for draft day, and there should not be, there probably will not be another instance where this happens. You might have players, friends, family, whatever, trying to prank them, doing things of that nature, and that's what we typically have heard and seen on this topic. Family members, stuff like that. We were talking, when me and Ben were talking to Luther Broughton about this, he was sitting there saying that, he had family members that were messing with him, trying to tell him he was being drafted, this, that, and the third. But it was something that was more like a kind-hearted thing. And I agree with Candy too, that you seen who Shador is as a man that this is something that would have messed with if it was anyone but Shador Sanders. In that instance, obviously he's not the only person it happened to, but like being the type of person that he is, the high profile thing, him dropping everything like that. If he wasn't, Deion's kid and being brought up in a certain type of way, it probably would have tore him down. Who knows what kind of hole he could have fell in, etc. But I think what Shador's doing right now is showing exactly why people were wrong about him. The attention on him was misguided at this point in time. The way that Cleveland looks with Shador getting those reps at quarterback, the Giants are looking pretty foolish right now.
Okay. All right. Stephen and I talked about this next topic last night. I'm going to bring it up now. We might get a word or two in, but we're going to leave the rest to the panel. Desmond Howard makes NFL history as the league's heaviest player at 464 pounds. The Gators defensive tackle is an undrafted free agent and playing with the Bucks. All right, Mr. Gator, what are your thoughts about Mr. Big Mac here, Desmond Wilson?
Man, Big Dez, I remember when he first got to Florida. I mean, I think he was even heavier than he is now. He obviously balled in, lost a lot of weight. I mean, the fact that Dez can lose 64 pounds and still be 400 pounds is, I mean, he's a to call him a big man is an understatement. But Big Dez got some wiggle to him, man. He could definitely play. I mean, he definitely can play football. It's just that him and that nutritionist, they're gonna have to be, they're gonna have to be best friends, because I think for a guy like Dez Vita Vea is not a small human being either. But Dez make him look small. And I remember Dez last game at Florida, they put him in to do like a quarterback sneak. If that's unfair. That's like a tush push with one human being. He's just coming up through there. But I'm happy for Dez, because I think Dez has probably been big his whole life. No doubt about it. But the Bucks think that he got a shot to make the team. But Dez gonna have to be serious about losing weight and keeping the weight off, because and Marvin can speak to this. They gonna test you. An offensive coordinator gonna say, "Look, just keep him on the field. What? Let's see if we can have a 10-play drive. Let's see if he's the same effective player on the first play of the drive he is on play 7, play 8. So I'm rooting for Dez, man. Watched him play for 4 years, but listen, for everybody thinking that Vita Vea and Big Dez gonna stop the tush push, they won't. That's a lot of meat. That's a lot of beef. They won't. So I'm rooting for Dez, man. But 464, man.
Well, the only thing I'll say about the whole thing is, do we have another William Refrigerator Perry scoring touchdowns? I don't know. But
yeah.
I mean, come on. You got that guy bowling over you. You don't need a push. All you have to do is bowl him over and score touchdowns, get that winner. That should be a cakewalk for this guy. William Refrigerator Perry.
Yeah. I mean, and Big Dance, listen, if you're seeing this, listen, man, I'm just calling a spade a spade. I don't want no problems, sir. I don't want no problem with you. 0%. So if you see me out and about, like Troop, I heard what you said. I said, no, man, that was Scott. That wasn't me. I'm just answering questions, sir. No, I'm rooting for him though, man. Guys like supersized Dez, whatever you. I mean, and Dez wore number 21 in Florida. That's the smart. The 21 look like this big, on his chest, man. He's a one of one. I mean, to say you're the biggest NFL player ever, I mean, that's saying something. You're the biggest ever? Man. I mean, I stood next to Jonathan Ogden. Like, I stood beside him. He's like 6'10". You know what I'm saying? Dez is like 6'5", so I mean, I'm moving for that, man. I hope that when it's all, I mean, Dez can lose 100 pounds. He's still 365. Like, he can lose 100 pounds and he's still 364. Hey, man, I mean, he's obviously found a way to carry it well if that's a thing. But I just hope that, man, he finds a way to make it on this roster. And I want to see him, continue to work on his weight, work on his game. And, man, we'll see if he can make a career out of this thing.
Okay, Marvin.
Yeah, I'm going to hit this from a different angle. I mean, I knew who the player is, big guy. Obviously, he's a special athlete, being able to be that big and play a game of football, which is a game of movement, which requires conditioning. You can't just be big and good. We've seen that before. That's not a real thing. You have to be an athlete out there. And regardless of how sloppy it may look, when you see the O-line, D-line going up against each other, trust me, there is tremendous technique at play right now. You don't understand that. But with the big guy, listen, I'm just thinking the human body, the heart ain't meant to work for nobody at 460 pounds. You know what I'm saying? And, this guy, I hope he stays healthy so that he can continue to play the game, because when he gets out the game and he's 400 pounds in shape, it's going to be a hard life trying to, to stay healthy and be healthy, and you ain't got to play no more. I'm rooting for this kid 100%. I love the story. But sincerely, listen, I'm somebody, I lost 161 pounds, Stairmaster, no surgery. I was at 385. Now I'm like 224. This is over a 5-year
good for you.
Yeah, over a 5-year period. I know how I felt at 385. This dude's 100 pounds over that. My man, make your money, stay in shape, and lose that weight as soon as you can. Get on that Stairmaster, drink that water. Those are my 2 cents.
Yeah, you know what? I hate to say this, but I was at the only game in NFL history where a man died on the field. Chuck Hughes back on 1971. Can you believe that? I'll never forget this time. Dick Butkus was there. Chuck Hughes had a heart attack and passed away. It was unbelievable. And
so all those boys who died in the 20s and 30s, was that college? Because I know we there was a decade or so where we had probably a dozen guys die playing the game. And I think the president, I think FDR had stepped in somehow, some way. You know about this, Scott? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, wasn't at college though. I don't remember anything about the pros.
I thought I didn't know. I mean, that's what I was asking.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm at a game. Get this. I hate to bring this up, especially we're talking about a young athlete that weighs a little bit more than most. Okay, and I'm trying to be polite about it. But Chuck Hughes, we talked about the Damar Hamlin situation. Okay, and what made me annoyed was that Herman Edwards had never heard anything about it. Here's a guy in his 60s. You mean to tell me you haven't heard about Chuck Hughes? Really? Seriously? Really? I mean, Chuck Hughes, 1971. Passes away. I hear he had blood clots leading up to it because I began to research a little bit more. But dies of a heart attack October 8th, 19. I was only 8 years old when it happened. I had nightmares that night. I really, really, really did. Stayed with my dad's bed. It was just unbelievable. 55,000 people, quiet at the end. And then I just prayed, like you said, Marvin. Okay, we're talking about health first. Forget about anything else. It's all secondary at this point. That this kid finds, like Ben says, right nutritionist. But what can you imagine an 8-year-old having to be traumatic to watch a man die in the field, let alone the fact that it was the only time it ever happened in NFL history that a man died during a live game.
That's
It's
terrible.
something that I'm not proud of. I was there, but I had no choice. I was there with my dad. It was surreal.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Then the DeMar Hamlin thing, thankfully for him, they had modern technology that helped him out. His situation turned out better than Chuck Hughes, unfortunately, but it was hard to deal with. So Marvin, I guess what I'm trying to say, pal, is I empathize what you're talking about. But when you live through something like this on the field at a very young age, you talk about traumatic. It is. That's why your point is right on target, Marvin. Thank you for bringing the health part up. Thank you. God love you, man. Candy, take it over. And yes, Cyberowski, Game 6 is on. Yeah, I see it with my left eye, and I'm working with my right eye on the show. What's going on? Where? All right, what's going on? Welcome, Marvin. Welcome, Cyberowski. Glad one of you y'all made it in here anyways. Of course, one was banned, the other one, who knows where he's at.
He always does this. So he knows we're talking football on Tuesdays, and just because the Stanley Cups are on, we're supposed to stop everything, hold the presses.
Yeah, it's okay. His comments are lighthearted and interesting.
Oh, I know. I'm just
at least his are.
I'm ribbing him back. I'm ribbing him back.
Yeah, it's okay. He's not bad. If he get out of control, he knows that I drive a hard sledgehammer. I'm not Sister Sledge. I'm Brother Sledge. Ever heard of him? Oh, yeah. Candy, go ahead.
So Watson, 464-pound senior from Plant City, Florida, who had 20 total tackles for the Gators this past season. Despite his limited usage, he was considered the 53rd ranked defensive tackle on Dane Brugler's draft guide, The Beast. His deal includes a $50,000 guarantee as well as a $20,000 signing bonus. Think of this. Yes, he's the highest pound, heaviest player. The next one was Aaron Gibson. But not only does Watson surpass the lofty numbers, but he is 129 pounds heavier than Chicago Bears legend Refrigerator Perry. 129 pounds. Here's what I'm going to say. Kudos to him for signing an NFL contract. Go take your medical insurance now and see if there's ways to help you slim down so it's not as hard of a game. Because yes, Scott, I feel for you that you saw the only player on the field during the playing of a game die. It's not the only player that's died due to injuries or heat. There's a guy that, remember that there was a football player that died from heat stroke, exhaustion.
Corey Springer. Yeah, I remember that.
Exactly. I mean, this guy lives in Florida. Like, he's playing with Tampa. Like, it gets hot down here, and he needs to make sure he's in good enough condition to even practice and take some of those hits. So I'm kind of worried and concerned for his health because that is not a small number. But kudos to him for making a team and, living out, which arguably has got to be his dream, because most guys that play football, their ultimate, the ultimate is making it to the NFL. So kudos to him for getting that opportunity. Now let's see what he does with it.
All right, Stevie, you have the last word on this.
Yeah, he's one of the biggest guys out there. We've already dropped some names. Big Gill played there in Green Bay for a while. Refrigerator Perry, things of that nature. I'm gonna make it even simpler. We've been extremely hard on Jordan Davis here in Philadelphia, and each year he's come in. Everyone's sitting. Everyone wants to say he's not committed. He's overweight. He's this. He's that. And it's taken him, to his fourth season now, and everyone's, ranting and raving how much weight he lost, how good he looks on the field. That's all fine. He's got to find a way to get some of that weight down if he thinks he's going to make an NFL roster. Bennett already talked about it, that they go and test him. They're going to sit there and offense is going to run a 12-play drive. That don't matter, yards to gain, etc. They want to see what this fella's gas tank is. They're gonna want to see him play when it is, run, play, pass, play, and have him running around and seeing what he can actually do. He's not one of the highly rated prospects out there. He is down there in Tampa trying to earn his way onto a roster. So he's got a lot of work cut out for him if he's going to chase that dream and be an NFL player. So it's going to be interesting to see what it does moving forward. Ben doesn't think he's going to be one of these guys breaking down the tush push. I hope you're right down there, my brother. But I think that's one of the reasons you see a guy like him getting an opportunity, especially with Tampa Bay being on Philadelphia's playlist this year. So we'll see how it plays out for him. I hope he's able to see his dream fulfilled, but in a healthy manner.
Great stuff. One more top don't get to station break. We're going to talk about Dan Campbell, the Detroit Lions. He says the next step looks like in the development of Jameson Williams. He says he has a ton of growth left, and he's had a good spring. So let's talk briefly about Jameson Williams. Obviously, the kid could be on a contract here. Ben, your thoughts about Jameson Williams? Dan Campbell's right. He's had a good spring, but we realize he's had problems on and off the field. But the potential and the speed is just unbelievable. And like anything else, there is a lot of growth left for this young man. And I'm glad he's had a good spring. But what's the ceiling on this guy, Ben?
I mean, James, whether he could be as good as he wants to be. I mean, I think the thing is, getting drafted makes you a pro. It doesn't make you a professional. And
Right.
when you're a professional is when you go about your business the right way and you understand that talent gets you in the door. Your mind gonna keep you there. For James, it's gonna be what he wants to be. I mean, Amon St. Brown is about as good as a slot guy as I've seen since a guy like Wes Welker. But he's not the guy that's he's not the over the top guy. He's not the guy taking the tops off of defenses. Williams, when he got drafted, was a steal. Where they got him at, Jared Goff is waiting on him. They waiting on James Williams at this point. It's going to be, how good do you want to be, man? Do you want to be a player that's going to get a big contract because the salary cap has a lot more money to it? Or do you want to reshape this thing on a team of Detroit? Detroit is a relevant team now. Detroit is one of the best teams in the NFL and in the NFC. He's a good receiver. Do you want to be a great receiver? You good, really good. But potential is a very dangerous thing because all of us have it. Most of us will never meet it or achieve it. For him, he can meet it. He can achieve it. But it's on him. They're not holding him back. He's not the number one guy. He's the number one deep threat. Amon St. Brown is the number one guy, right?
Right.
Do you want to be a part? Do you want to be a guy that goes out there and make plays now and again, or do you want to be the guy that said, "Man, we going through you. We know what they got. The two-headed monster they got at running back. We know what they got in Amon St. Brown. We know what they got right at tight end." Every team needs two guys at the receiver position. Look at the best teams. They got two. They waiting on their number two. He shows flashes. Can you be consistent? Can you go out there and block? Can you go out there and play every play? Because Coach Campbell does a good job of challenges his players. He knows what makes them tick. He knows how to push their buttons. But I believe what John Gruden used to tell me. He said, coaches call plays, players make plays. He got to make plays, and he got to make plays consistently. If he can turn it on and want to be a professional with how he goes about on the practice field, in the training room, in the film room, and on game day, as dangerous as this offense is, that takes them to another level. That makes Jared Goff and company even more dangerous. They was incredible last year, but I think Williams, what he does, man, every guy has to have a guy over the top. Every guy got to have a guy that can run by them safeties, run by those corners. So if he wants to become a great player, I think he got a shot to do it. And he got the best teammate, Amon St. Brown, to show him how to do it. But he's got to, what did Mike Thomas say? It's not what you're capable of, it's what you're willing to do. If he's willing to do it, we'll see. Because like I said, it's going to take all they got to beat a team like the Eagles. It's going to take all they got, to come out of that division this year with what Green Bay and Minnesota are trying to do. So for me, I want to see it happen, but the NFL, man, it is unforgiving. And this young man has all the talent in the world, but he's going to have to put it all together.
Okay. Great stuff. All right, Marvin, what are your thoughts about Williams?
Yeah, explosive player, great player. I like him a lot. And like Ben said, potential is a dangerous word. You know, these kids are up against so much, and in the digital age and social media, and they're making money, and you know, in college, and they come to the pros making money, and you wonder how a kid can handle it. You wonder if that kid really has that dog and mentality in him to want to fight through all the flashy things around them. You know what I'm saying? Because that life comes at you fast, you know, and you're already successful. You know it. Everybody around you tells you that. And this is why, you know, in the draft process, those interviews matter. This is why those background checks and following up matter, because people want to know, does this dude love football? Does he want to be great? And a lot of times you don't know that until after you already cut the check and drafted him. This kid is special. I believe he is special. Does he want to be great? That's the question, man. And I'll be honest with you. We've seen a lot of these guys, man. I want to ask, well, I'm not going to call anybody out. You know, we've seen this before. We've seen them dudes who never really transitioned or took that next step, you know. I'm rooting for this kid. I like him, and I hope this kid can stay healthy and go out there and do what his team needs, because he's special, and they're going to need him in a very competitive division and conference.
Great stuff, Marvin. Candy.
He is a very good wide receiver. He needs to make sure that he's always on the field, though. So he can't have these extracurricular, you know, suspensions and whatnot. When you get drafted, you go through a course that talks about some of these things. You need to they need to pay attention, like why he was caught and had to be suspended for gambling. Like, that's something that should be a no-brainer. Like, and then obviously using a substance that is on the ban list. You've got to know all these things. You've got to so you don't get suspended, because when he's on the field, he matters. He makes a difference. Let's face it. We all know I'm a Packers fan. Do I want to see him on the field? No, because with him and Amon St. Brown, they're a good 1-2 punch, and it makes it harder to defend. Now, if he's not on the field and we're only focusing on Amon, that's a difference. You know, you want two really good people out there, so you don't have. So we can't just double team one of them. We've got to pick who are we going to defend and how are we going to defend. And he has the capability to have a lot of breakout and to have a breakout year. He just needs to make sure that he's on the field, and that's what I'm going to say.
All right, we'll just put a couple of the comments up there. You'll find this one agrees with you as well, Candy. Steve Wentways is right on target with that. Stephen, last word. Well, the only thing I'll say about him is, yeah, he has to be on the field. Potential's there. He can run up a lot of yards, and he can make cornerbacks and safeties jobs a nightmare. I'll leave it at that. I know what the guy's all about. And keep in mind, they acquired him in a trade from the Minnesota Vikings as well, and that's how they were able to get him. So, all right, Steve, you have the last word on it. Then we go to a station break, and then I'll give everybody a clue what we'll be doing after the station break. Go ahead, Stephen.
Hey, like, listen, you know, we've already kind of hit this one out of the park. You know, he's got another one of these situations where you got to prove your worth. You're one of the teams that is you know, vying to potentially you know, not just win their division, but trying to win their conference and get a Super Bowl berth. They were arguably one of the best teams in the NFC over the last 3 years. They've been plagued by injuries and, you know, just bad performances at the wrong time, falling short. And having a guy like him on the field producing, you know, even if you wind up using a lot of motion, moving him around, finding mismatches where he can cause defense problems is probably where the Lions will be at the best this year. You know, we already know what they have in Jared Goff. You already know what you have with a Jamar Gibbs. You know, they have a very, you know, dynamic, well-rounded offense. So we're going to see what a guy like him can do, you know, if he's able to kind of put all the question marks aside and get on the field and you know, make an impact. Because if he is, I would expect to see Detroit not just continue to own their division, but potentially make an NFC conference bid, potential Super Bowl stuff like that. I hope they don't. Obviously, being the Eagles fan, and obviously Candy definitely agrees with me being a Packers fan and being how close that division is. And I already said that North Division is arguably one of the most stacked. I mean, everyone wants to talk about the NFC East right now with the Eagles, the Commanders in Green Bay, but I think if you look across the board, that division right there, the Packers, the Lions, the Vikings, the Bears, all those teams could very well be fighting each other for potential wild card spots like it was last year where both the wild cards came out of that division. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it all plays out. Hopefully the kid's able to not just make the team, but get the snaps, be able to, be the two, be the slot, however they feel scheme wise, he's going to make the most difference.
All right, when we come back after this station break, all I'm going to do is go over some United Football League facts. I don't expect everybody on the panel to know about them. I know a lot of them follow the NFL, but I have a job responsibility as a journalist to make sure we get that out for all of our diehard fans out there. And then Van will have his own segment on the Florida Gators. We'll have a few more topics to get to. So I'm sparing you guys a little extra voice by going over it. It is interesting stuff, though, but I'll just get it out there. And I'd say at least Ben can tell me, yes, I told you, Scott, okay? The one team can't beat another one twice, and he's right. I'll bite my tongue, although I hate biting anything like that hurts, but I'll do that. Candy, station break. I'll go over some United Football League information, and then Ben will have a segment. We'll have a few more topics to get to, so stay tuned. When we come back, Candy, take over, please. Thank you.
South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by our host, Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth. Talks about his 40-plus years in the media business and how it has evolved and changed. Old school media versus new school media. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There's also a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where you can find a plethora of great content. So go check it out. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcast. We're there. iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google, CastBox. We're there. So go check us out that way if you prefer. If you see the red subscribe button in that lower right-hand corner, that means you have not subscribed to us yet. And I honestly don't know what you're waiting for because we have such great programming. But you can do it now, and then you can share us with all your friends and family. If you want to advertise or sponsor a show, you can call Scott 954-304-4941. Or if you want to be a guest or have topic ideas, you can always email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. Back to you, Scott.
Thank you, Candy. All right, as I promised, I'm going to go over some basic notes, and we'll go from there. First of all, as you all know by now, the DC Defenders took care of the Michigan Panthers by a score of it pains me to even read this because it is bad. 58-34, people. Here are some of the most interesting facts that came of it. Shannon Harris is the first interim coach in pro football history to win a championship. First interim coach in pro football history to win a championship. That's why we bring it up. Another fact. Owen Powell, no relation to Marvin Powell. Maybe
No.
he probably wish he was when he hears this. Is the first player in history to win a college football national championship twice in 2016 and 2018, two-time Super Bowl champion, and a one UFL championship in 2025. Not bad. A few championships, one for the thumb. And obviously, we talked about the score in front of an attendance of 14,559. And the game was played at the Dome at America Center in St. Louis. The players that won Super Bowls and UFL championships consist of Jaden Mickens, Anthony Hines, and Trey Dean. All right, so the only one that can say anything is Ben. You get your I told you so moment. Go ahead, tell it to me. We move on to the next topic.
All I kept saying was it's very, very hard to beat a team twice. It's not like I was super duper invested watching all these games, but I was like, man, beating a team twice is the hardest thing to do in sports, football specifically, and everything was on the line. Like it's different in the regular season, great game, everything, and that offense was clicking. I mean, they just were. They were clicking that day. Everything that could go right went right for them. Everything that could go wrong for Michigan went wrong. But Michigan did fight back. Like they didn't win the game, but they didn't lay down either. So you appreciated it. So I didn't want to come on here and say I just was like, dude. Like when I'm looking at the game, I'm like, I mean, what did these DC boys do? They got the big dub. It was still a good game, even though the score looked very, very lopsided. Like I said, they got the dub. I was just thinking that I was just going off of, like stats and sometimes, man, when it comes to playing a team twice, you know each other. Sometimes the team that won before come in overconfident. Sometimes the team that lost comes in, with a chip on their shoulder, and it just went the other way. Good game, though. It just, hey, DC had their number on. They just had their number. It's one of those games.
It was. All right. Well, you know what? Since you're talking, I'll give you another reason to talk because this segment is all to yourself, okay? And I'm just going to ask you a couple of quick questions. First of all, out of Florida, 3 former Gators are included in the 2026 NFF College Football Hall of Fame ballot. They include Alex Brown, who played there from 1998 to 2001, Brad Culpepper from 1988 to 1991, and Percy Harvin from 2006 to 2008. What are your thoughts about these 3 guys?
I think Percy Harvin, the fact that he isn't already in the College Football Hall of Fame is a travesty. I think he's one of the most explosive players ever come through college football, as well as the University of Florida. I think Brad Culpepper got a really, really good shot to get in for, his contribution when he was at Florida. But Alex Brown is what I can speak to the best. I was blessed enough to get to Florida in 2000. Alex Brown, is the all-time leading sack guy at Florida. He had not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 sacks against the University of Tennessee and a pick. This is This is after they won. This is 99, after they won the national championship in 1998. Alex Brown came to the University of Florida as a quarterback. They moved him to linebacker. Somebody got hurt. He had to move to defensive end. He left the all-time leading sack guy. Look, I played with some really, really good players on other teams and at the University of Florida. Alex Brown was a one of one. He wore number 13. His name is Alex James. His name is Alex James Brown. I mean, and he was what I appreciate the most about AB was he didn't treat you like he was a first team All-American. He didn't treat you like he was the man. He showed you. I was never ever known for my blocking, never as a tight end, but he used to tell me, "Troop, I'm gonna bring out the best in you, or I'm gonna bring out the worst in you. It's gonna be on you." And I appreciate the way he went about his business. Yes, Alex is a couple of years older than me, but and Marvin can speak to this. Every player wants to get validation from certain people. You want your dad, if your dad played, to validate you, and you want your teammates to. It's not that you seek it, but you will take it. My junior year, we played Michigan in the bowl game, in the Outback Bowl. I caught one pass, and the guy that tried to tackle me, I just jumped over him. I'm not trying to make sports in the top. It was sports in the top 10 player today. We lost that game. Alex Brown was in the NFL at the time. He comes back as players come back to college sometimes. And when I saw him, he said, "True, boy, that was a great play." To me, it's not that I needed that, but I appreciate him saying that, because when you go, I'm not a Marvin Powell III, so I didn't follow my dad and going to the same school with that type of pressure. So I'm always gonna give you big props, Marvin. That is Shaq's size shoes to fill, and you still with that, and I respect it, brother. I wasn't a Florida Gator fan. I got there and I saw what it was. Alex Brown is sitting there on my visit, and I didn't even know who he was when I first met him. I'm 17 years old. Might have been 16 when I got recruited. But when I got there, it was never, "I'm Alex Brown, the first team All-American." It was, "I'm Alex Brown. I'm a hell of a football player. What you need from me? How can I be a good teammate to you?" And I'm just happy for AB, man. And it's funny. Alex Brown was the first team I think 2-time first team All-American. I got voted into the Florida-Georgia game Hall of Fame before he did. And Alex called me and said, Troop, how did you get in? And I said, are you pranking me? Like, are you pranking me? He said, no, man, like, how did you get in? And he goes, this is what he said. He said, do we need to get a vote from a current inductee to get in? And he said, if we do, would you vote for me? I'm like, absolutely. Absolutely. So, man, shout out to Brad. Lord have mercy, is Percy Harvin. I mean, that kid, he was crazy good, right? But AB doesn't get enough credit for how great of a player he is, but how even greater of a teammate he was. So I'm happy for him. I hope that he gets in. And like I said, man, with a name like Alex James, I mean, my mama used to talk to his parents up in the stands, and obviously we country from in the South. You know, his mom, his name was Alex James Brown. I said, my mama said his middle name was James. She was like, yeah, after the singer. Like my mom, like I know, like I know it's after the singer. You don't have to tell me that. But shout out to all three guys, man. All three are very, very deserving.
All right, one other thing I want to ask you a quick question, and then I'll keep moving along here. But I want to make sure you got your Gator segment in. What are your thoughts about the fact that there will be no noon games for the Florida Gators?
It's if you root for Florida against Florida, I don't know when it comes to the schedule makers or the people who decide the times. We play more at night than anybody in football. It gets on my nerves. Listen, I want the game to be at 12 so I can enjoy my Saturday. I got to wait all night. God, and it's gonna be so many TV timeouts. But I've grown accustomed to it now. We are the night game. Florida's playing at 7. Florida's playing at 7:30. Oh, Florida got the SEC game of the week. Hey man, DJ Lagway, Billy Napier and company, go out there and handle y'all business. But I'm trying to enjoy my weekends in the fall. Listen, what do I got to look forward to on Sunday? Church? It ain't the Falcons. It ain't the Titans. I'm just saying, they messed up my whole fall, man. I got to wait. I can't go to bed till 11 o'clock. Pastor looking at me because I got the heavy eyes. It ain't and my pastor don't say things like, hey man, let's get out of church early so we can go watch the Falcons. No one says that. Y'all want to watch the Falcons? No, you need to read your Bible, because good Lord. That's a lot of stress. But I'll take it, man. As long as we get them dubs, I'll take it.
Oh boy. I knew that these were good topics, so that's why I got your goat there. All right, a few other things I want to get to. Let's talk about some landing spots for a few players that are out on the market. You have Zadarius Smith. They talked about the Chargers. Sante Samuel Jr., Cleveland. Amari Cooper, maybe a reunion, Dallas. Keenan Allen, New York. All right, we'll start with Steven on this one. Where do you think any of these players go? We're going to go rapid fire on this one. I have a few more things I want to get to. Steven, go ahead.
Me and Ben have already talked about Jamari. I think he's going to wind up with one of these middle tier teams that are trying to make a push for the playoffs. Wouldn't be surprised to see New England, Carolina. We're even talking about Ben's Falcons. Won't be surprised to see them there to try to make a push to win that South Division down there in the NFC. Asante Samuel, hell, I'd love to have him here in Philadelphia just as a potential backup in case Kaylee Ringo isn't the guy they want to go with. I know that we brought in Dory Jackson from the Giants, but I'm not quite sure how that'll play out, even if he makes the roster. So wouldn't be surprised to see him there. But also, wouldn't be surprised to see a Cleveland reunion. And as we're looking at it, he's got that connection here in Philadelphia, as his dad played here in Philly. Wouldn't be surprised to see him to go to New England either.
You got Keenan Allen, Zadarius Smith.
Allen, I would not be surprised to see him going back to San Diego at all. I think that's the surprise move that the Chargers are waiting on. I think they're just waiting to free up some extra money to make it happen.
And then we got Smith as the last one, and we'll go around the horn and rapid fire. Zadarius Smith, Steven.
You got me, brother.
All right, that's all right. Well, here, I'll go over these real quick, okay? I'll get my 2 cents. Zadarius Smith, I'd love to see it happen with the Lions. They traded draft capital to get him last year, and if they can get him in a reasonable tank for their book, they can do it. As far as Amari Cooper, I'd love to see him end up in Pittsburgh to help out Aaron Rodgers, where I'd like to see him end up. Sante Samuel, I guess I could see him in Philadelphia. And Keenan Allen, yeah, San Diego as well, but I know they're talking New York. Candy?
It's just interesting because some of these teams that have the the space to add them, would some of these guys fit? Like, the Packers just freed up some space with letting Jair Alexander go. Could they see? I could see them bringing in somebody. This is going to probably sound funny, but I could see them bringing in a wide receiver because their wide receiver room is so young that I know that they're happy with them, but I could see them bringing in somebody that, could help mentor some of these guys and stuff like that. Where do I see all of the guys going? That I don't know each individual. You can go to the other guys for
That's
that.
fair enough. Okay, that's fine. Ben, do you have any thoughts about any of these players real quickly?
Ladarius Smith, I can see him end up in a place like the Raiders. I know they got a guy like Max Crosby. He needs some help on the other side, so you can't double team him every single play. I think the thing about a guy like Keenan Allen, I can see. I mean, they say the Hunter Renfrow hasn't really looked like himself being in Carolina. They need a slot guy. He's from Carolina. He just went to school in Cali. I can see him going to Carolina or the Saints. Asante Samuels, I think Kenny brings up a good point. Jair Alexander, that's a huge hole. Huge hole. The Packers need some help, or the Dolphins, who got a disgruntled, Jalen Ramsey down there. I can see him being with the Packers or the Dolphins. And Amari Cooper, I say Amari Cooper needs to go to the Cardinals because I think Marvin Harrison Jr. needs somebody to show him, dude, this is how you do it consistently. Like, you're a good player. And I'm not your daddy. Nobody is. Nobody's Marvin Harrison Sr., but I can see Amari Cooper going to the Cardinals. I think at this point in his career, he don't mind being a mentor.
Marvin, what do you want to add to this?
I'll tell you what, the only one that might make sense for me is Keenan Allen going back to the Chargers. I can see that this stage of his career, where he's at, team-friendly deal. I'm sure he wants to be in LA. That could happen. The rest of those guys, I'd love to see him in New York playing for my Jets. That's it. Yeah. No, I'm just saying, we need a ring. We need a Super Bowl. You talk about teams who haven't won it yet. It's been a long time.
It's okay. Well, at least you've been to one. The Lions haven't, so at least you won. You played the. Well, yeah. I hope I'm alive to see it. Remember, I wasn't alive when they won their last championship on my birthday, 5 years before I was hatched, in case you folks are just joining us. So I have one more player. We'll go to the greater Atlanta area. So the teams that are actually interested in Kirk Cousins, I know we're Pittsburgh and Cleveland, Minnesota. But let's just make this one a real short one. Where does Kirk Cousins end up? I know they've talked about the fact that he's willing to be a backup quarterback for the $27.5 million. Steve, real quickly, where does Kirk Cousins play football in 2025?
I'm going to say it again. New Orleans Saints.
Okay. Candy?
Minnesota.
Ben, rapid fire.
He's probably going to end up in Indy because I think Anthony Richards is going to get hurt and Daniel Jones is going to be the starter. He'll end up there in Indy because Anthony Richards won't make it through the season again.
So were you saying he should end up?
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis.
Okay, no problem. Sounds good. All right, Marvin?
New Orleans.
Okay, very good. I think he stays in Atlanta. I really do. That's my gut feeling. Because you don't know what you have with that.
$100 million. They gave him $90 million in 2024. He drives a minivan. Man, you know what? Don't get me started about no Kirk Cousins, man. I'm trying to keep this show positive, man. $90 million, Marvin. They gave him $90 million.
Yeah.
He ain't my cousin. Come on, man.
That's funny.
A lot of money.
That is really funny. A couple more things I want to get to. Charles Barkley and Bill Belichick about a recruit at UNC. Anyone who isn't excited to meet you is an idiot or a fool. Okay, well, Stephen, what are your thoughts about Charles Barkley? No shortage of opinion.
Charles gets it right again. So Charles gets it. Listen, man, if you're not about to be graduating high school football player and Bill Belichick's coming knocking on your door recruiting, if you're not acting like a little 12-year-old jumping up and down on the couch, I don't know what's wrong with you. I don't. Like, listen, we could say a lot of things, he wore out his welcome here. He's not this, he's not that. He knows football, and if you're good enough to the point where you're being recruited by North Carolina and Bill Belichick, he should be on most guys, top 5, top 10 listed to go play for North Carolina. I know he's building up a program right now that hasn't seen a whole lot of success in its life, but he's breathing life into it. I think, something me and Ben have already talked about. It's going to take him a few years now, but watch out for North Carolina, man.
Andy?
As a college player going into your college career, why wouldn't you want to be coached by someone that's done it at the highest elite level and won? Not just done it, just did it. He won how many Super Bowls? And yes, everybody's going to say, oh, it was Tom Brady. It wasn't. No, it was both of them. It took the whole team. Football is a team sport, and it takes a coach to coach the team and all the players and all the, how should I put it? Not attitudes, but all the personalities to play together on the field to win championships. So as a college kid, you should be thrilled that you get to go talk and, possibly be drafted by somebody that's got the pedigree behind him.
Okay. Ben?
I mean, I can respect what Charles Barkley's saying, but I think Charles Barkley understands who Bill Belichick is. I mean, these youngsters, they kind of know who Bill Belichick is. They definitely know who Tom Brady is. I mean, there are current players in the National Football League who don't know who guys like Calvin Johnson is, right? These are some of the greatest players. Now, Bill Belichick is football royalty. In the NFL, he is. In college, I mean, I get it. He's Bill Belichick, but and I'm not aging anybody, but he's 73. Mac Brown's 73. The guy he just replaced. So I get what Charles Barkley mean, but Bill Belichick better know about TikTok and Snapchat. He better know. He better be into stuff like that, because these youngers, they gonna respect his position, but he better not be putting New England Patriots on the board saying, "Who is this player, young man?" I don't know. Is that Gronk? No, that's Wes Welker. Who is? I'm just saying. I respect what Charles is saying, but Charles need to also know that, man, people respect what you're doing currently, not what you've done previously. And as long as they ain't doing history lessons, Bill Belichick is fine. But listen, and I'm not even doing this. Bill Belichick has a very, very young girlfriend, fiance, right? They respect that. They were like, "Dang, man, that's you." Yeah, they respect that. I mean, so, and shout out to Bill Belichick, man. I mean, hey, he's still finding a way to get it done. But Marvin knows this. He better win, because the same reason why they hire you will be the quickest they will fire you for the exact same reason. If it's all good now, because ain't nobody played, but you better be making noise in the ACC, man. And you right there I mean, what? Chapel Hill ain't that far from Charlotte. That's where they play the ACC Championship game. You might want to be trying to get there in 2025. We'll see what happens, though. We'll see what happens.
Marvin?
Yeah, I think Barkley is right. But the reality is that's the fantasy world. We live in the NIL world. And like Ben said, a lot of these kids, they know who Belichick is from a distance. They don't know him like that. I agree with that. Yeah. So at the end of the day, if Bill Belichick ain't got that money to give these players, I mean, memories and pictures and photos on DVDs from back in the day, they ain't gonna win no kid's heart. I'm just being honest with you. I respect Bill Belichick. I see him as one of the greatest of all time, and I would be honored to play for a guy like that. But again, that needs to come with a check too. So yeah, I agree with Barkley. Kids should be excited about this. He is who he is, but a lot of these kids don't know who he is like we might. And again, we as American capitalists, we need that paper. So that's my 2 cents.
Well, my 2 cents is this. I think Charles Barkley is really accurate. And by the way, he's also in my book. I met him too, and I made sure Sir Charles was in there with me. And I'll tell you, it was pretty interesting, the talks that we had. They were really cool. I understand why he's a good broadcaster. He was a pretty good basketball player. But I think he's right that they should be an idiot or a fool not to want to go ahead and meet you because of his pedigree. But again, the college game is a different animal. I'll just say this: I work with a guy named Howard Schnellenberger who was part of the undefeated teams in 1972 and taught me an awful lot. A lot of kids loved playing for him because he'd been there, done that, and worked with Don Shula. So I think anytime you have a coach with a high pedigree, you should always be excited to meet you because they've been there and done that. Hey, but you know what, Marvin? I got some good news for you. You ready for this, my friend?
Go ahead.
The New York Jets got a new kicker today. How about that?
I heard about that.
I'm gonna mention it now. I'm thinking about what you said a few minutes earlier. Yeah. And I have to. You say the Jets need a lot of help, so I'm gonna bring it up here because this is breaking news today. The New York Jets are signing Stallions kicker Harrison Mevis, the thicker kicker. Almost got tongue-tied. The thicker kicker. He might be the equivalent to Gus in the fictional world, the mule, but that's another story. They kick field goals. But let's talk about his numbers. Mevis hitting 20 of his 21 attempts this season with a long of 54 yards. So there you have it, Jets. Let's hope that the thicker kicker becomes the next Jake Bates up in New York or New Jersey, whatever you want to call them. As Stephen would say, the New Jersey Jets. Sorry, Stephen, I had to pull that one out of you, man. He always does it, but I got it from you there. So how do you like that for a president? You got the thicker kicker going there from the Birmingham Stallions. Does that make you feel better?
Yeah, listen, at the end of the day, the Jets, based off of last season, we need all the help we can get. If the thicker kicker is going to make a difference, man, I embrace that situation 100%. Right now, I'm just hoping that my man Justin Fields is getting right and that he's gelling with these guys and these OTAs. If it comes down to the kicker, then we said his long was 54. You said that was the long. His long
was 54.
That's like a chip shot. That's a chip shot in today's NFL. So if they bragging about that, I'm worried. But we'll see, man. Listen, listen. May the best man win.
Well, listen, I gave Ben an exclusive topic, and I gave you one with the thicker kicker. How does that?
Great
nickname. Good for the Ben is good for the Marvin.
Right.
So, and with a Jake Bates reference to it, okay? And I always used to say with one of my mentors, where did he hit it? Deep. I had to get my echoes of the deep out here one time. Where did he kick it? Deep. There you go. So you have the deep version out of me here tonight. No caffeine tonight.
That vibration. I like that. Yeah.
Don't get me singing, otherwise you guys are going to go deaf if I start doing that because I don't want to kill a memorized class, that's for sure. One topic left of the night, and there is only one, and yet we're doing pretty good on time, aren't we, Stephen?
Yes, sir.
And this is an easy one. The NFL Players Association has tapped former Biden administration official Liz Allen as its new chief spokeswoman. She reports to Executive Director Lloyd Howell. Any thoughts of this move here, Stephen?
Hey, I got nothing on this one, my friend.
What about you, Candy?
I mean, good for her that she got hired, but that's about all I've got. I don't know a lot about her. Sorry.
Well, anytime you can go ahead and have a pretty good spokeswoman, especially with the Players Association, you need somebody to be able to convey the message of what these guys are talking about. What about you, Marvin?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the situation, but, I hope she does a great job.
That's okay. Some of these topics are out there because they're called Journalism 101, and this lady is definitely it. And Ben, I know you're a man of many words. Do you have any on this one? Many and any? You get the drift?
Yeah, I mean, congratulations to her. Just like everybody was saying, I hope she understands that as much as she's on the side of the players, she might want to make sure she be on the side of former players, as Marvin said. I mean, it takes a former player to understand a former player, and as long as you are speaking up on behalf, because you're going to be a former player a lot longer than you're going to be a current one. I get the current players run the league, but make sure you got former players in every conversation, and man, you got my vote.
There you go. That's a great analysis. It really is. We can't forget about the current players. You have to talk about the former players, and that's the one thing that tends to get lost in a lot of these safety and healthy issues that led to all the big concussion and head injuries. And I want to point out to this panel too, and hopefully you'll have a chance to read it in South Florida Tribune. But I recently wrote a story on brain trauma, and I'm going to tell you right now, I have had a lot of brain trauma, and I'm going in for an MRI tomorrow morning to hope that they're taking a cautionary MRI that I don't have blood in my brain. We don't know whether that'll be the case or not, just precautionary. But I've sustained 4 concussions in the last 3 years, and now I've been diagnosed with the onset of Alzheimer's disease at 62. I was diagnosed at 61, one of the youngest cases that that doctor has had. But you know what they keep telling me, and that's why I love having guys like you and gals like Candy, is you guys and everybody that I do these shows enable me to keep myself active is what you allow me to do. I love writing stories. I love covering games. I love being on podcasts such as this nature. And without you people, it would make my progression would be much quicker if I didn't have such incredible teammates like the Stephen Reichels, the Candy Eblings, the Ben Troops, the Marvin Powells, the Christy Jones. And if I look at some of my other shows, I have Eric Katz on there, the Trent Clarks, the George Eichhorns, and the list goes on and on. So when I talk about this particular thing, it's not an easy subject for me to do. But when Ben makes a comment about helping the past players out there, it is really, really, really important that we understand that when you're dealing with head injuries or CTE, that you need somebody that can speak up for them as well. And that's the only reason why I incorporated my personal experience in here, because Ben, you did an unbelievable job being able to go out there and convey the past and the present. Now, I don't know if anybody's ever heard of this name. His name is Michael Keller. He used to be the former general manager of the United States Football League Michigan Panthers back in the 80s. And he's definitely dealt with a lot of head injuries as well. And I don't want to feel like I'm missing out on some of my key panelists, because I have a lot of them across the board. Willie Epting's another one, but those people will be listening on our website. But the reality is I want to thank everybody that tunes into our shows every week and the loyalty that they provide week in and week out. Because without you people, it's one thing. And again, Ben, I say that because you went out there and took something with this woman and just say, let's talk for past and present. But people can get head injuries in any form of occupation. It isn't just limited to the football field. And that's the thing that people have to understand. So we have to make sure that, as Candy mentioned, that we're conscious of the word depression, mental illness, head injuries, because these things are a fact of life. They really are. I hope I didn't overdo that commentary on there. I just try to put things in perspective to let everybody know where my mind and my heart is at. Anybody want to add to this real quick before we wrap things up tonight? Ben, anything you want to say to this?
Man, first and foremost, Scott, man, I appreciate you being vulnerable and honest about your situation, man. And I'm the type of person to where, I do what I do because it's bigger than me. It's not because of me. I said what I said about the former players because I am a former player, like Marvin. And I think sometimes it gets lost, right? We understand it's about the current crop, but you know the thing about current players, yeah, they're guaranteed to be former players. And we want to be able to let them know that going into retirement, even if you don't know what you're going to do, you're going to be taken care of. Because the one thing you leave the NFL with that you didn't start with is wives, is kids. A lot of times we didn't start with those things, and that's what we have now. And listen, we're not begging for anything. We just making sure that y'all don't forget about, listen, some of the, as my daddy would say, listen, man, the best bricks on the building are the old ones. Somebody had to lay them, and we laid them. And I'm not saying that we are owed anything more than what. And that, listen, and I'm gonna take it a step further. Former college players as well. I don't know what they're gonna do for some of that because there's way more of them. But they put in just as much work. But I just got to say to you, Scott, man, listen, I'm praying for you, man. And like I said, I'm gonna do my part to come on here as much as you need me, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Just giving, putting some meat out there, letting us know what's going on with you, man. But hey, man, you had me at hello, and then on Jerry Maguire, you had me at hello. Hey, man, I'm here, man. Just let me know, man. Just let me know, man.
Well, Ben, I've always said this to you before, and I'll say it to you, Marvin, as well. Ben, I love you, and that's all there is to it. Marvin, I love you too, man. I really am. You are unbelievable. As Jimmy Walker would say, J.J. Walker, you're dynamite, but I'm not going to scream my vocal cords out because they may want to operate on that next. And if I have to go silent, things get really quiet around this place. And when I'll get into that another day. When you have two vocal cord nodules sitting next to each other as neighbors, they're going to be looking down there later in the year. But we'll just see what I can do to get through this European trip and be able to see if I can speak any language and get any kind of interviews that they can speak somewhat close to my language. So, Candy, Stephen, anything you'll want to add to this whole thing as we get ready to button the show up? Candy?
Nope, you said it all. I mean, there's nothing I can say. You know, you putting it out there like you did and letting everybody know, that's a vulnerability that not everybody would do. So I appreciate that. And obviously, I'm here by your side no matter what.
There's a reason why this woman's a Rolls Royce, Ben. She knows it.
See,
You guys said it all. Send it home, Scotty.
You
Huh?
know what I'm saying?
I said you guys said it all. Send it home, Scotty.
Hey, listen, man, I got my heir apparent right sitting across from me wearing that Philadelphia business there. That's okay. This show was custom made for you when I stuck that Eagles thing in there with all those players in there. I know who the heck is on my panel. But no, with all, yeah, it's not easy for me to talk about head injuries, and the Alzheimer's thing hit me a little quicker than I anticipated. But you know what? There's a couple ways I could have looked at this whole thing. I could say that's the beginning of the end, or in my situation is, as Lee Corso would say, or is it not so fast, my friend? Is that what he said?
Yeah.
One of those guys said that, right?
Corso, yeah.
Yeah, was it? Okay. Not so fast, my friend. We got a lot more shows to go. And I intend to be behind the microphone alone. So it is what it is. So that's all I have to say. Or do I need to get lost? No, that's okay. I think I expended my voice a little bit on some of those echoes of the deep. I had to get that out one more time. All right, Stephen Reich will let everybody know how they get a hold of you.
All right, guys. You can catch me obviously here on the South Florida Tribune Media Network. Every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, sometimes Sundays. Next week you're going to get a lot of my face as I'm going to be holding the fort down as Scott and Candy get ready to jump over the pond and enjoy some much needed quality downtime. So you guys can follow me Facebook, Instagram. Just type in my name; it should pop right up. The X handle's right underneath my name there. It's Steve Sport Talk 1. YouTube, just type my name again. You should be able to find me. And don't miss tomorrow. Again, I've said it for the better part of a week now. Me and Ben are going to be sitting down with the Reverend Mr. Irvin Fryer. He's also Dr. Fryer as well. So, like I said, he's going to be dropping some knowledge on us. We're going to be having some fun tomorrow morning. And don't miss it out. Make sure you got that notification bell locked in there, my friends.
All right, I want to put a couple of comments up real quick, and I'll do that myself, Candy. Well, actually, Tiger straight media. Kudos to him, and then we'll get to the other. All right, he says, I made a 25-26 college football hype video last night. Good stuff, Ryan.
He said he was going to go buy the games last night.
Well, now doing it, so give the man his due. And this is Melanie Holly, Cappy Trails, praise for the family of Ann Burrow, Food Network star and worst cooks in America, all sides at 8:55. I'm worst. Nobody will ever give me anything for a 4-minute grilled cheese sandwich that I cooked in the microwave back in 1985. And could, or actually, was it? Yeah, I could have broken. Let me tell you a funny story before I get into this worst coach woman. Once upon a time, at my USF days, Marvin and Ben, I tried to make a grilled cheese sandwich in a microwave, put it in there for 4 minutes. I tell you, the way that sandwich turned out, I could have used it as a hammer to pound in a nail, or I could have broken a triple pane window. It's safe to say I never seen another grilled cheese like that they did before. And if you're looking to do some major damage, you want a head trauma, I could have given you a concussion with that sandwich too. So don't do what I did, or even broil a turkey during Thanksgiving either, because I did that.
Needless to say, I don't let him do any of the cooking around here.
No, I don't. I got a little smarter than that. There's a cook and a snook, and I'm the snook and she's the cook, whatever. So that's another admission. All right, Ben, let everybody know they get the all of you, my brother.
On all social media handles at BenTroop84. And just keep looking, man. I mean, I'll be enjoying myself on here, every Tuesday, obviously, the fan in the end with Steven. I mean, on Monday nights, man, you can find me on Winning the Division with Ryan Smitty Smith. And, man, just talking trash, man, having fun, not taking it too seriously, keeping it light, and enjoying every minute of the journey.
We enjoy having you on here every week. Marvin, you know how I feel about you, my friend. I can't wait till we all get together in Atlanta and we go out there and have a lot of fun out there because now I know between you, Mel, and Ben, we're going to have a whale of a time. All right, Marvin, please let everybody know how they get a hold of you, my friend.
Guys, I keep it simple. Like I told you, I'm Facebook only, Marvin Powell III. Reach me for anything you need. I've enjoyed my time with you guys, and I look forward to more.
Great. We look forward to having you on more often, Marvin. You're a pro in every sense of the word, but more importantly, to me, you're a member of my family. Please don't you ever forget that, okay, Marvin?
Thank you,
It comes
Scott.
from my heart. My mouth works a little, but it comes from my heart, my mind, and my heart. It's there somewhere. But that's how I feel about you, Marvin. You're welcome.
I appreciate y'all.
Yeah. So, all right, Candy, one more station break, and then we'll call it a night. For our audience, I want to thank everybody for participating in the chat room. Your contributions were tremendously appreciated.
South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by our host, Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth. And I can tell you all, you got to go get this book because this is the first one. He's going to be writing a sequel to it, so get this book before the second book comes out. It's got a picture of Scott with a young Muhammad Ali, and you think he tells stories and can talk on here? You should read some of the stories in the book, Old School Media versus New School Media. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There's also a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there is a plethora of great other content, including some not so bad pictures that I've taken myself, if I don't say so myself. But anyways, if you see the red subscribe button, hit it like a sheriff, and then click the notifications, because yes, Steven has got some great programming coming up when we're going to be across the pond. So definitely turn on those notifications. Check out all the things that are happening on the South Florida Tribune Network. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to advertise, you can call Scott, 954-304-4941. And if you want to be a guest or have topic ideas, you can always email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. And I'm going to put a plug in. Tuesday nights at 7:30, the Chicks Podcast. Me and 3 other chicks, and we talk sports. A lot of it women's sports, but we delve into all of it. So check it out. We did a show earlier tonight. Go check out that one as well. And then, please, all of the people that we have on this wonderful channel, go follow them. Go subscribe to their YouTube channels because they're giving us their time. We want you guys to also enjoy their content and go subscribe to them as well. And Stephen, I'm going to say thank you to you in advance for taking over the network while we're going to be gone. I know we're leaving it in good hands, so thank you.
Anytime.
I know he's going to do a whale of a job. He really is. Of course, we have a show together, Professor and the Pupil. Now we're going to see the people emerge and utilize his lessons well. No, Steven's a pro. He really is. He's taught me a lot about the business on the technical side, the things I never even imagined I would learn. And this guy definitely showed me a lot. We've been able to help each other, and that's what's really wonderful about it. Finds us some of the best people to work with. I have a couple of them right here on this panel between Ben and Marvin, and of course Christy Jones as well. So he's done an unbelievable job. I just look forward to giving him the opportunity to take a break while I go out there and cause some new adventures out there. And yes, part of my activity with the Alzheimer's, I should point out, is wanting to be an author. My goal is to write 3 books before I don't really know what I'm doing anymore. And I've got one in my pocket, 2 to go. So that's what we're going to work towards. So meanwhile, on behalf of Stephen Reichel, Candy Epling, Ben Troop, and Marvin Powell III, and Marvin Powell IV, when we saw him earlier, the cute little kid, by the way. This is Scott Morganroth, the Motor City Man. Thank you for joining us on this edition of Inside the Big Ten, and we will catch you the next time. Good night, everybody. God bless, and we'll see you in the not-so-distant future. Bye now.